Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Sequoia Project podcast, the podcast dedicated to talking about the ins, outs, ups, and downs of business. My name is Coby, and I'm joined by my co-host, Dale.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 10. Today,
Episode
we are
10.
going to do something really fun. Really, really fun. We're going to talk about what it's like to be paralyzed by decisions or decision paralysis.
You've been paralyzed, but not by decisions. Well, it was your own decision that led there, to be fair.
That's true. That's true. I did. If for anyone that's new to the podcast, I did break my spine by working too hard building my business. So I have actually been paralyzed, and I made decisions that led to that. So we're not talking about that kind of
work.
Yeah, we're not talking about that kind of paralysis. What we're talking about is not being able to make a decision, feeling like you're stuck in the options that you have. And last week we spoke about confidence, and the last few weeks we've kind of been ramping up and like talking one off the back, overlapping the episodes so that it's always kind of on the same theme. And something that's come up for me, 3 times talking to clients this week is that they know what to do, they have the idea, or they're already in business and they have an idea on how to expand it, but they have so many options that they just don't do anything because they're just literally paralyzed by the amount of decisions they could make, or the fear of what that decision might look like. Usually it's something that takes you outside of your comfort zone. So we're going to talk about what that is. So if you've been listening to the episodes leading up to this and you go, damn, I've got just hella confidence, I know the idea, I'm ready to rock and roll. And then you get to a point where you actually have to do something and you go, well, fuck me, I don't know what to do now. I've got all this confidence. I know the idea is good and it's validated, but I don't know what decision to make. This is the episode for you. So did you have anything, Coby, in your experience that's, where you were kind of in this situation?
God, how many messages would you have of me talking to you, trying to make decisions and being like, oh, I think we should do this, but what are your thoughts on that? Kind of like, I know what I'm doing, but it's always been not confident in that's what I should do. Because like you said, you feel stuck in that decision that you've made, and that once you've made that decision, you can't really pivot from it. I also have an issue with not only sticking to a decision, but like I'd struggle to stick to that said decision because I think like, oh, I've made this decision, but there's so many other things that I could do with it. So I don't let things run their course of sorts, which I think is one of my biggest downfalls with it.
Well, we just actually went through this with you, like off the podcast, like literally 2 weeks ago, where it was like, hey, I could do all this stuff. And it's like, dude, what do you actually want? You're like, I want a boring, repeatable business. But then we were like, well, you can't do all of these really high-end, sexy things that take a million fucking cogs to get turning. We need to do something simple. So that is one of the things as well. And when you do have decision paralysis, it's hard because if you know the kind of decision you should make, and if you're listening to this, or maybe a good reminder for Coby is if you have a list of things you know you should do, but you're not doing, that's when you usually go, oh, but this other idea, because it takes you away from all the stuff that you know you should be doing, but you're not.
Also, making such like big decisions, it's so confronting and scary at some point because it's always you've got that failure in the back of your mind too. It's what if I make this decision and it doesn't work out? Which I mean, on the podcast, we're a firm believer of like anything that you do is data. So no matter whether you fail at doing something, it's good information, it's good data, or anything like that. But there's always that cog in the back of your mind that's kind of like, oh, I can do this. This might work a lot better. But there's so many options here. Like, I don't want to make the decision that's going to be wrong. And I think that's something so many people are afraid of being subjectively wrong. Because obviously it's not necessarily a wrong decision. It's going to give you a lot of information and everything from it. But yeah, I think it comes into that fear of being wrong that kind of brings in that sort of paralysis and everything with it and stops you from making that decision. Therefore, kind of distract your brain with whatever other decision that they could possibly be making instead of what you should be actually thinking on.
Yeah, for sure. And I think there's something in there that I want to point out that Coby said that I want to really hit home for anyone that's listening to that and it didn't stick out for them is we always ask ourselves like, oh, what if it's the wrong decision? What if it doesn't work? Yeah, those are the kinds of questions we ask because we're our own toughest critic. So we think our ideas, even though they might be valid, we think that they're stupid because it's like, oh, well, why would that work? Why, we ask all these questions. If you find yourself that you are that kind of person, you go, oh, well, that's not going to work, or how would that even start, or anything like that. You're asking yourself negative questions. Start asking yourself, if you notice it, asking yourself, what if it did work? What if it was the best decision I ever made? What if this was the thing that changed everything? And all of a sudden, those questions, you start to question yourself, but you start to question yourself positively rather than negatively. And that's a really good exercise. Like me, naturally, like, I mean, I've done a lot of stuff even before business where I had enough evidence that I was like, oh, I make pretty good decisions. So getting into business, I'll just kind of lean on my own decisions, self-confidence. But if you're the kind of person that, and before I had that, I used to ask all these questions. What if it doesn't work? What if it's stupid? What if it fails? Try, if you notice that about yourself, try switching it to, what if this was the best thing ever? What if this was the decision that changed everything? That way it's more fun, to be in that realm of uncertainty, not so negative, and you're not getting on your own case. So that's just something that Coby brought up there that I thought would be really helpful. But yeah, everything else you said is 100% right. It's always like, what are we choosing against? Like, is it, if it's the opportunity cost, and if you don't know what opportunity cost means, it's literally, what is the cost of doing one thing? Because if I'm doing that one thing, I can't do another. That's the easiest way that I can describe it. Yeah. So when and everyone has this kind of ratio in their head, but they don't realize that they're doing it. It's literally, what is this opportunity going to cost me? And if we go, well, I've got 5 great ideas. If I nail down and just do one of them for a year, or one of them for a week or 6 months, I'm not doing the other 4. And that's where we kind of get held up. So let's go quickly, because I want to keep this as concise as possible, so people that are listening to this just go, cool, that was a really fun, interesting thing, and then we can move on to other stuff. But the first thing I want to say on this is, if I was going to tell you how to get over decision paralysis, the quickest way is, don't worry about perfection. Perfection doesn't exist. In this situation, in this very unique situation in business, if you're going to do something that you don't know how to do, or you haven't done before, you are not going to do it perfectly anyway. It's just as simple as that.
No.
If I threw you a football and said, kick that, you've never done it before. You're going to kick it like shit. Like, you're just going to, the fact of the matter is you're going to kick it like shit. But once you kick it, I can say, all right, cool, here's what you need to change. And that's when you start to learn how to kick a football. And then you kick it 100 more times, and it's getting better. It's just getting better. It's just getting better. And then after a year of kicking a football, you can kick it both feet, and you're a fucking freak. But what we basically are saying here is, every time you start something, every time it's your first day doing anything, you're not going to get it perfect, because you don't have 10 years experience. So just let it go. Let the expectation of, I'm going to nail this first time, let it go. You can do it as good as you can do it right now, but in a month's time, you're going to look back and go, I can do that way better now. That's what it's all about. Yeah.
I think that
anything you want to add on
ties-
that about perfection?
Yeah, that actually ties back to something we talked about in one of the other episodes, where having no experience is actually going to be one of your strongest points in business, because you can grow so much faster. It's
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
If you're coming in there with absolutely no experience, you have that chance to go from 0 to 10, which is going to move you so much faster than 80 to 82. Like,
get that momentum rolling.
Percentage of skills. Exactly. So that's that. I just wanted to tie really quickly back to that. Yeah, you're not going to be good at everything when you start off with, but it gives you so much opportunity to actually grow a lot faster.
Yeah, for sure. The second thing that I want to go into, which we have also touched on, so I'm going to tie 2 things together, is a lot of people think if they start to put themselves out there, and people start to know that they are going to make a decision. So you had the idea, you've listened to all these podcasts up to this point, and you go, I've got the idea, I validate it, I know it's good, now I want to put it out there. People have this fear of, if I put it out there and it doesn't hit, it's not a massive surefire thing straight away, people will look at it and be like, oh, Dale's failing. Like, oh, Dale's trying to start that lawn care business, but he hasn't had any inquiries because I've seen it on Facebook, or whatever it is. The fact of the matter is first of all, no one fucking cares.
No.
It's just, everyone is so busy. If you think about your life and how busy you are and how many things you're doing, people don't have enough time in their day to go, I wonder if Dale started that lawn care business. They just don't. They just don't care. And it's hilarious, because we think everyone does care about what we're doing. But generally speaking, they only really care when you're successful at it. Like, if you are the best football player on your team, everyone's like, oh, Dale's a gun. But if you just started playing football, no one's going to turn up to the games. No one's going to come and watch it, because they're busy doing other stuff. But if everyone's talking about how great you are, then that's when people want to come and watch.
Yeah.
It's just as simple as that. No one really cares. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, if you go, oh, well, Dale, I can't get over the fact that, I can't actually believe you that no one cares. I think people are going to think I'm a failure. Here's how you break that. Consistency and making a new thing normal change everything. So, for example, if you never post on Facebook because you don't use social media, but for your business, your specific type of business needs social media to grow, if you post every day for a month, for the first 2 or 3 days, people are going to go, this is weird. Coby's posting. Like, what the hell? Coby never posts. But
Mm.
once it's normal, and once they go, Coby's post every day for a week, Coby's post every day for a fortnight, that's going to become normal to them. Oh, there's Coby's post again. Yep. Same time every day. Coby posts that. It becomes normal. And it's not a matter of, oh, well, they're doing this thing. Just get through the first 5 days and do it consistently, and consistency will make everything normal.
Absolutely.
Now, like, I never used to make phone calls because I used to live in a van and, travel around and not run businesses and stuff like that. But now if I'm like with my family or I'm out somewhere and it's a work day and I say to them, I'm probably going to have to take some phone calls today. When the phone rings, they don't go, what the hell? Dale's always on the phone. What's his problem? Here they go, oh, well, Dale's been running business for 7 years and taking 500 phone calls a week. He's probably going to have to take some phone calls. So it's just about, you can use consistency as a tool to make it so normal, so quick that no one questions it. And once it's normal, people don't go like Coby for his media business. He's on social media all the time. No one's sitting around now 2 years later going, what the hell's Coby posting about? They've seen it every day for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So use consistency to drive that away.
I actually had someone the other day who was like, "Oh, you popped up in like this Facebook group," and I was like, "Yeah, I know that guy." Like, it wasn't weird. What was weird actually was someone said that our podcast popped up on their TikTok, and I was like, "Yep, that is interesting that they're sitting there hearing
That's
us
new.
talk."
That's new, but that's
A
cool.
new
You see,
experience that I found weird.
And again, and like Coby does all the back end of this stuff. He chops it up, he edits it, he puts it all out on YouTube and the social media accounts and stuff like that. But see, this is the cool thing is we've only been doing this for like a month, 2 months, sorry,
Yeah,
and
2 months.
we have what 65, 70 pieces of content out there, maybe even more, maybe closer to 80 or 100 now with all the shorts and stuff like
There's
that.
a
So
lot.
again, this will become more normal. We will pop up on people's TikToks week after week after week and things like that if they watch us. And that's a really cool thing because even in something we've never done before,
Yeah,
within 2 months, it's going to be normal. Like there'll be that much content that it's like, yeah, no, they do this every week. So naturally I'm going to see them. So
yeah, exactly.
it's just cool. That's cool that someone saw it on TikTok. That's pretty cool.
Oh, I hated it. I hate the fact that people are not. If it's people I know, I'm like, ew, you're sitting there listening to me talk. That's disgusting.
They might actually think after they listen to you talk on the podcast, they might actually think that you're smarter than they thought you were.
Well, she said it doesn't sound like me at all. I'm like, do you think I sound the same in every like aspect of life? Like when I talk to you versus talking on the podcast about this sort of stuff, like it's very different environments.
Yeah, no, it is. But see, that's cool. So again, if you go, Dale, I just can't get that thing out of my head. I can't get the thing that people aren't watching me. That I can't literally get no one cares in my head. Do whatever you're doing consistently for 30 days. It will be normal to everyone after that.
It's very similar, like gym advice too. Like so many people are so scared to go into the gym because they think everyone's going to be looking at them and all that sort of stuff. And I think it's similar in every aspect of life. Everyone's out there doing their own thing and trying to like get their own lives better. No one gives a shit what the fuck you're doing.
The gym is really good, dude, because if you got some guy who's like he's lat pull down, he's got 120 on a lat pull down. Do you think he's going to give a shit that you walked into the gym for the first time? He's about to explode. Like the dude's about to die. He's pulling that much weight, and he's not going to be like, I've never seen that person in here before. He's just going to keep doing what he's doing. Yeah. So, and the thing is, if you rock up every day for a month, all the normal people that go in there, they'll be like, oh, yeah, that's that guy I see every day.
Exactly.
Not, who the hell's this guy? So consistency is great. It's a very good opportunity. So, is there anything that you wanted to add in there? I'm putting all the bullet points in there. Is there? If you got a bullet point you want to throw in?
Sit here and just watch, I suppose. I'll be a listener of the podcast.
Give me something. Come on, give me something.
Oh, were my points that I was adding onto yours not good enough?
No.
Yeah, I thought so.
No. Have you got anything that you want to throw in there? Because I've got one more, and then I'm done.
I think you really covered the main stuff. I mean, I threw it in there sort of with my experience and everything like that. I haven't got anything massive on there. You really just kind of cover everything and don't shut the fuck up. So
I know. I'm a
you could bring in your third point, and I'll jump on the back end of that if I've got something.
All right, cool. Well, the good thing is I want to do murder and merger after this, so you're going to be talking predominantly about this idea that I heard about. All right.
Okay.
So,
okay.
the last thing that I want to say on this is I taught Coby this a long time ago because some people learn better with visuals and stuff like that. And I don't know if Coby has the editing prowess to put this in like a graphic and put it in on this part, but maybe we'll talk about something like that. Yeah. Look at him.
I think we do all work.
Yeah. But basically, if you can imagine like a 4-part kind of circle, like we're running in this direction, all right? And how it works is when you are starting something and you kind of have decision
Mm.
paralysis, these are the stages that you go through, and this is how it works. So it always starts at the top, and we're going in this direction. So firstly, we start with you're in a comfortable position right now. Like everything you're doing is normal. You do it every day. It's very comfortable. If you want something to change and you want it to be different in your life, you want some variation, more money, more freedom, or whatever, something is going to have to change because what the actions you've been doing that you're comfortable doing have got you to where you are, but they're not getting you to where you want to be. So the next stage is we come down here, we go to, you need to get uncomfortable. You need to do something different. You need to do something that you haven't done before because it's going to generate a different result. Then you can look at that result and go, is it getting me closer to my goals? Yes or no, but you have to be uncomfortable for some variation of time to experience something different. From there, we go down to the bottom of the circle, which is practice. The new thing that you're doing, if you go, this is getting me close to my goals, it's out of my comfort zone, it's generating a different result, you need to practice that thing. You need to do it over and over and over again until you're so good at it that it becomes normal, it becomes comfortable again. And then once you have done that thing, you will receive opportunity. There will be an opportunity to use that thing that you've done. There'll be a network you've got access to that you didn't have access to before. There'll be a skill set that you have that you didn't have before. There'll be something will come up where someone will go, oh, this person is the kind of person that gets uncomfortable, the kind of person that commits to being uncomfortable.
Mm.
Now I want to give that person an opportunity. Once you have that opportunity and you use everything you used in the circle, you go back up to the top and you get
And
comfortable
repeats.
again. That's the cycle. And I've looked at, week to week, month to month, year to year, the cycles that I've gone through in the last 7 or 8 years. And that is a constant thing. But every time I've achieved anything outside of the normal, every time the business has gotten bigger, every time I've taken on more risk, every time I've invested, it's always the same thing. And if you can get very comfortable in this cycle, you can get very comfortable in going, cool, I know where I'm at now. I know where I want to be. I'll go through the process. I'll get back to where I am comfortable. It'll be a different level. You might make 20,000 more than you made last year. You might make 100 grand more than you made last year, but you are moving in the right direction. Then you go, I want to make even more than that. Just repeat the circle again. Do the cycle over and over again. More happiness, more freedom, more time, more money, whatever you want. It works for everything. That's what I would say to get through decision paralysis and to get onto it. Like if you want a tangible thing that you can go, where am I right now? Well, I'm very comfortable. Go into the next stage of the circle. And then if you go, well, I'm really uncomfortable and I don't know what I'm doing, practice. And if you're
Practice.
practicing and people are watching you do this thing and they go, shit, Kobe's just doing this whole new thing and he's doing it every day. Like, oh, that opportunity will come. More conversations will be had. Then you get to take the opportunity. Once you've taken the opportunity and you've applied everything you've learned, you'll be comfortable again. And you go, oh, now I run this kind of business with this kind of network. I'm comfortable again. I want it to be bigger. Let's go again. So that's just something tangible you can use. That's the last thing I want to say on decision paralysis. So unless there's anything Kobe's got
I
to
would
tack on
love
the end
to
of that.
go through and find the notes of one of the first times we talked about this. I think I actually remember specifically, I just finished up work at the gym, hit my session. I'm sitting in my car and we talked about this. I should actually have the notes somewhere to be
Right,
able to show, like from our first conversation that we had, because that
right,
was probably one of the biggest bit of informations that you'd ever told me and that I use to anyone, literally anyone, if they tell me that they want to start a new thing, is bringing
mhm,
up the fact that you have to actually be uncomfortable to do it. And then that overall cycle. I think no matter what, whether it's business, anything else in your life, that is probably one of the most important things that you need to take into consideration for growth is
mm.
especially the fact that you're never going to grow if you're staying in this comfort zone.
Yeah, 100%. I think the amount of times I've explained this variation or some variation of this to people who are like, no, no, like I'm out of my comfort zone, and I've asked them questions, and they're like, no, like, and they actually are in their comfort zone, but they think
Mm.
they're out of their comfort zone. Um, the whole thing that I get down to, because I like to explain things in a sentence, is if you're in a situation where you've been doing the same thing and you haven't been getting the kind of result you want, what you're doing doesn't work.
Yeah.
Period. What you need to do, you don't even need to know how to fix it, but what you think is right isn't working for you. You need to try some wrong. That's the easiest way that I can explain it to you, because what you're not doing are the things that's holding you back from getting where you want to go. So if you think, oh, I'm in the same spot I was in 5 years ago, I've been doing the same things I was doing 5 years ago and all that kind of stuff, and I'm unhappy, what is right for you doesn't work. It doesn't get
No.
you to where you want to go. Try some wrong. and that is get uncomfortable, do something different, take on a different hobby, meet some new people, go and in the different area, take on a new skill, do something that's uncomfortable because it will lead you in a different direction and you'll have a different result.
Absolutely.
Bingo. Done. Drop the mic. That is 20 crisp minutes of sweet, sweet, juicy information. Okay, now I've got something for you. I heard about something this week. Merger them. That is not our official intro for this segment, but I got some cool shit. Okay. Ready for this? I'm going to drop something on you.
Mm-hmm.
There is a startup called Ultra Human. You ever heard of them?
I've not.
Okay. So it's called Ultra Human. And what they do is they are creating wearable. Yeah, Jamie, pull that up. Have a look. And what they do is they create like different wearable items that are obviously all linked up to an app and everything like that. So they've got things that you wear when you work out. They've got things that you wear for mood, sleep, all that kind of stuff. It's a wearable technology that tells you more. Yep, they have rings. They have like vests for working out. Like measure your CO2 and measure your workout thing. Like it's all about wearable tech that you can basically monitor everything about you. But the way that they're running the business is that it's all stackable subscription. So you buy the item, the ring, the vest, whatever it is, the sleep mask. You buy that, and then you stack the subscription onto this one platform where you basically go, cool, I want the ring because I want to monitor my day-to-day moods and things like that. So you buy that and then you pay the $10 a month so that you get I don't know the exact figures for monthly, but let's say it's $10. You pay that so that your app has all that uploaded on. Then if you decide, well, I want to monitor my sleep as well, you buy the mask and then you pay the stack on top of that, another $10 a month to have that data. And it's becoming a thing now that I can kind of see that it could be the next trend where you're going to the gym and seeing people geared up with all of this stuff, measuring anything about them. And it's actually costing you $100, $200, maybe even $500 a month to monitor yourself in fitness with these stackable wearable programs. So the question is fitness now, normally we'd expect to pay a subscription for a gym membership or something.
Yeah.
But this is taking it to a point where you don't have to have a gym membership to monitor everything about yourself, but you have to have a membership to know everything about yourself if you're in the fitness industry. So I thought it was cool because if you bought the ring and you just had the ring, then obviously that's a one-time purchase until it breaks. But the fact that the fact that now you pay a subscription to know where your health's at and you can monitor your own health, whatever it is, sleep, exercise, mood swings, all that kind of stuff. Once you start paying for something like that, can you actually stop paying for it? Can you afford to stop paying for it?
Okay. Like I'm looking at this right now. I've got it up here. Jamie pulled it up. And it was so from what I can see, the Ultra Human ring it's about 600 AUD. You can get that shit from JB Hi-Fi. Now, I have this, which that tracks like heart rate, steps, like sleep quality, all that sort of stuff still already. And that was a couple $100, just like a Samsung watch and everything, connects to my phone and has no, like no subscription model or anything to that. That's so interesting because what is the benefit to that compared to a smartwatch other than the fact that you're not wearing a watch? Like, because so much of it's so interesting.
I think for them, the positioning is, and like they have the ring out now that I've seen, but they're all like, they're going to bring out all this other tech as well.
Yeah, the ring is their main thing.
Yeah, that's kind of their entry-level market. It's in startup phase at the moment, so they're going to bring more stuff in the white page. It says they're going to bring more stuff.
Okay, I'm seeing it's got your metabolism and all that sort of stuff in it too. Okay.
Yeah. So this is more, what they're doing is more in-depth data, metrics, and measuring. And then the more products that they bring out, the more they're literally specified to different parts and different systems of your body. So there'll be things for like specifically your heart. So if you have a heart condition, you can wear this thing and monitor it 24/7. If you have If you're trying to increase your fitness, you can literally measure everything about. So I think where they're separating is it's like almost ultra niched information rather
Very
than
much
general
so.
information on like your watch and things like that. Because your watch is very good at being a watch and it does all these other things, but
Mm,
primarily it's a watch. What they're saying is our whole thing is just your health. We're not attached to anything else. We don't do text messages. We don't do any of that. We spend
mm.
all that R&D on your health. So I think it's going for people who are very serious about health and fitness, very serious about, I want to know every single thing about my body and where it's at. Um, yeah, so I think it's a slightly different market, but you don't have to pay a subscription to know generally what your sleep quality is like. Whereas their thing will be an exact science. Like again, that's why we have Merger or Murder. Would you put this kind of thing into your business where you go, I'm going to ultra niche down on something, charge 3 times as much and a subscription on top? Or would you go, general is good enough?
That's tough because I don't like as much the idea of having something so expensive up front and still requiring a subscription.
Mhm.
Because I think that's so like people already pay like this is an expensive product in itself
Mhm.
already.
And that's just one product. If they have a
Yeah.
range,
It looks like it's like they've got backing for this. Like it's used for cycling teams and all that sort of stuff. I've used it from what I'm seeing here, from my research and everything. And it's like what they've got going on. It's really good. Whole thing is for future of health. Would I bring it in for? I do like the
just the
all-in-one
model.
app.
Mhm.
They've got everything in one place, which I do like. I don't know. I don't know whether I'd bring that kind of model of having to. The mix of subscription and upfront is interesting. However, it's not the only business that does this. Say, like, if you
Mhm.
get an Xbox or something like that, or like a PlayStation or anything, you have to purchase the actual console and then an online membership with it too,
Mhm.
if you wanted to play online, that's subscription. So I don't think, mm, in my business wise, it wouldn't make sense for me to bring
Mhm.
something like that in.
Yeah, but don't forget, Merger and Murder isn't you're bringing it in to see a media. It's just, would you take this idea and put it into a business, or would you go, nah, I would never run a business like that?
I think financially wise, it would be a smart business idea, and I think it would be something that would be good to bring in
Mhm.
for the finances. But I feel like it's going to be one of those things that you really have to build the trust off the back end first prior to it, because
Mhm.
you're trying to rely on people to purchase an expensive product already and then a subscription model.
Yeah, here's how I think they're going to do that. What you just said is exactly the point that I was going to make. Is because it's ultra niche, because it's so specified. These like we're measuring
Extremely.
every metric about your health. What it's going to attract is top 1% of performers, like you said,
Yeah.
cycling teams, Olympic athletes, like things like. It's going to attract that top 1% who have the watches and the Garmin's and the Samsungs and stuff that measure generally what's going on.
Mm.
But these guys, it's like 1% is the difference between a bronze and a gold, or a
Yeah,
silver and a
absolutely.
gold. Yeah. So I think it's going to attract those types of athletes. And then what happens is that tends to be a trickle down effect where you start to see people who are in just the rung below them being like, oh, I need that to get to the next level. And then that kind
Mm.
of flows down. And like the best way I can describe this is, if you have you ever seen those watches that you pull the toggle switch out, the timing switch out, and it sends an alert to SES.
Yeah, I've seen Ben 10. Uh,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
yeah, I
basically.
have.
Yeah. But the people that buy those in society are never going to be in Siberia, in Russia. Like
No.
they play golf on a Sunday and they do all that, whatever. They're never going to be in a wilderness so bad that they need the SES out looking for them. But they buy the watch because it makes them feel like they're that kind of adventurer.
Yeah.
Same thing with guys that play golf on the weekend. They go and they buy the best clubs, Tiger Woods level clubs, because when I play that, I want to feel like Tiger Woods. Not
Mm.
all the cheating on his wife part, but the goal. He's very good at golf.
The golf
But
part, ideally.
that's I think I think it trickles down. So if you've got Olympians using it, if you've got racing teams using it, all these
Yeah,
kinds of
they'll
guys, people
feel
who
like
want to
the
feel
top
like that,
1% of athletes.
they go bang. Not to mention, I also think it's a really good story. And like we always talk about, the story is what sells. imagine being able to say to your friends, you're working out at the gym, you got this ring on, it's changing colors every 20 minutes. When you're rested, when VO2 maxed out, whatever it is, and they come up and
Mm,
they say, "What's that ring?" And you go, this thing measures 200 things about me every second. It's a really juicy story to tell people. Whereas your watch, no one's going to ask you a question about your watch because it's normal.
yeah,
Like a lot
everyone's
of people
got
have a
like a
Samsung watch or an Apple watch, but yeah, it's
yeah,
this thing where you can go, "Oh yeah, this measures everything about me," and they get to say, "Wow, that's really cool." So I think the
it'll
story
stand
also
out
sells
too.
itself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause you
yeah,
go
and
to the
imagine
gym,
like when they've
anyone wearing a watch, you're like, "Yep, they've got their watch, they're tracking their steps, they're tracking their workout, they're
uh
breathing, that sort of stuff." But if you see
yeah,
someone with, like, this ring or even, like, the
uh
vests and everything like that they're
yeah,
bringing on, like, even people stand out when they're wearing, like, weighted vests or anything like that. So
mhm,
imagine seeing this
yeah,
technology sort of thing into the gym, that's gonna be like it's gonna be a massive conversation starter. And even, like,
yeah,
the CO2, masks that they use to train, all that sort of stuff, like, people see them,
uh
and then people that they kind of had that effect that of people wanting to train their overall like cardiovascular health, they would use that because they saw the big athletes doing that.
yeah, 100%. That's why people wear like certain types of shoes. Like let's
Mm,
say you've never run a marathon before, but then you see the winner of the marathon being like, "Oh, it's all because of my Brooks, whatever sneakers." They go and buy that sneaker because it makes them feel like they're going to win a
yeah.
marathon. It's just that kind of thing. So I think, especially once the endorsements roll in, like they'll give these rings
Ooh,
away to world champions and stuff like that. And, LeBron James will be wearing one. Once the endorsements from that roll in, price and subscription, I don't think will matter because people will want to feel like part of the story.
yeah, if you come in and like Australian Olympic gold medalists, they're like, well, I wear this to help with my training. They'll be like,
Oh,
well, if that fucking
yep.
gets them to a gold medal, then what's it going to do for
Yeah.
me?
100%. So yeah, I actually think that the what the product is once they attract that 1% of the market at the top, I think
Mm.
it'll trickle down and people, and it will just become a common thing of like, well, I want to be the best in my sport. I have to have this thing.
I think it'll also come in for people getting high end coaches and coaches
Mm.
recommending that so they can track more on their
Oh,
clients too.
dude, if they get into that kind of area where it's like a one to many, like so whatever the Australian basketball coach, every kid that's coming to the tryouts, he's like, you got to have this ring. Like we need to measure this about you. It's part of
Mm.
being on the team. Oh my god, that's going to be mass
It
adoption.
can open up that opportunity as well for even just to anyone like footy coaches, all that sort of stuff. They're like, well, we need to know where your physical fitness and all that stuff's at, and this is the most accurate way to track it. They're
Yeah.
gonna get it.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not specialized, it's already on the market, which means you don't have
Absolutely.
to know some guy from Russia who developed this secret program.
No.
You can just buy it off the shelf and give it to all your players and make the team better. So I think it's fantastic. I think the it's I don't think it has to be that way. I think $600 for the ring plus whatever else you're going to buy. If you're going to buy the whole set, you might be 5 grand for your own health, which is for a lot of people is a lot of money. But I think they are reaching into the subscription market because they can. And I
Oh yeah.
don't I don't mind that. I don't mind that because if I knew for a fact every day without going to the doctor that my heart was in great condition, after I've bought the initial product, would I be like, this is worth $20 a month? Yeah, I probably would, especially if my family has a history of heart conditions. I probably would. I
Yeah.
probably just like, this is a great peace of mind to have.
Would you buy it? You've got big goals.
I got big goals. I would buy it, yes, and I'd pay the subscriptions happily. Um, See, the thing is once you start, there's no point in stopping. That's the thing. So, like for me, I would buy because I want to climb Everest. I would buy it to track everything up to and
Yeah,
during
because I think that'd be
Everest.
so important to know for you to make
100%,
sure, especially with like your CO2 and all that sort of stuff, how you're gonna react to.
100%. So I would buy it,
Mm,
and I would pay for the apps, and I would do it happily because then I would go, cool. I'm in the best physical condition I can be in to go and do Everest. That's a really good thing to know before you start climbing it.
that can be a
So
standard too for anyone that wants to go to Everest. That's something they're like, if you need to
could
track
be.
all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, and peace of mind is like why anyone really buys anything. So like for me,
Yeah,
it would be like I can train my ass off and I can feel really fit. But if I knew for a fact, if they're like your potential is this, and you're at 99%, I'd be like, dude, I'm going to kill Everest. And that would like there's nothing I can't prepare any better than I am. So
yeah.
that would give me peace of mind. So I would absolutely pay for it and I'd pay the subscriptions happily. The difference would be when I come back to normal life and my normal training is just to stay fit and be healthy, would I still need it? At that point, I think I'd still pay for it anyway because it's like, well, I already spent the money on the ring. and I've been paying the subscription anyway. So who cares? So I think
Yeah,
people would
it's
buy
part of
it
your
for a
day now.
big event. Yeah, and it would just become normal, and you just be like, great. Well, like I don't want to not know. Like I don't. I would love to know if I'm at risk of, injury or something like that in my normal training. So $20 a month, I'd probably pay it as well. So I think people like me would buy it for a huge event. Normally, if I wasn't going to do Everest and all that kind of stuff, I probably
Mm.
wouldn't. But knowing that that's the kind of person I am, I would buy it just to be like, cool, I'm going to run across the desert, go and do an ultra marathon through the desert. And I know for a fact I'm in the best physical condition I could possibly be in.
Yeah, we're in two different boats. Whereas what I want to do is like compete once in bodybuilding. For those who don't know, jacked.
Oh, yeah. Check out the
But
video. If you listen to the audio and you want to see a
yeah,
bicep.
check out the video of my biceps. So that's such a different thing because the only thing that I really need to track would be sleep, calories, and like overall training performance, which can just be done with a watch, like your steps and all that sort of stuff. So to me, having all of that other information isn't as necessary, especially when it's so much of like a physical look over if I'm going to be able to breathe at high altitude sort of levels, or if I need to have this endurance for an Olympic marathon, or if I need that sort of stuff. So it's definitely goal based, which is why it brings in that big niche.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think as a model, I think it's ballsy, but it's good. And I think
Very
that
ballsy.
once they have it, like once they get mass adoption of it, it will be a standard in fitness for those kind of wearable, AI based, things. So I think it's really cool. I think it's going to be a really cool way for humans to just improve themselves and know about like where they can improve and what they should be improving. So hopefully society gets fitter and better and all that kind of thing. But I also think that
ultra human,
that's why it's called that. But I
sponsor
think
us.
that send us a couple of rings for our fucking whatever we got, 15 subscribers.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that I think I like it. I would bring it on board if you had a product that was that niche down and had the possibility to give it to a few key people in the world market. I think I would be ballsy enough to run that.
I like it. I like this segment.
Merger.
Agreed. Merger.
All right, cool. Let's close this thing up. That's just a bit of a fun side topic.
You talk too much.
Side segment that we're doing. But again, at the end of these things, if you enjoyed it, if there's something that you like about it, if there's something you hate about it, let us know. We don't take it personally. It's all just data. But all the links are. Well, Coby might take it. He cries in the shower after these.
I'm the one that this.
But yeah, we will. If you like the information, there's plenty of it. You can go and see us through all the pages and stuff. Send us a message if you need help with anything. Otherwise, enjoy the content. Hopefully, it's good. And
all of the links are down below as well. So anyone that wants to see the Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, even the Sequoia Project group, all that sort of stuff, everything is available down below. Click the link, get in there, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. And we will see you guys in the next episode 11.
Thanks for listening. See you guys.
Thanks. Bye.